party people. Hi, it's Randee for Thunder Horse Descendant, and I'm here today for Jesse James Beads. I am super excited, you guys. I have a very interesting idea today using a Golem Bead and making some of our own little beaded rings to use as spacers. So I hope that you guys will come along with me and we'll see what we get. So let's get into the video, and I just wanted to thank you guys all for coming today. Please, since you're here, make a comment or say hello. I'm just really grateful that you guys are here, and I am excited for this project. So let's get into it. All right, guys, here we are on the mat. I want to talk a little bit about the design. We had sketched this out on morning coffee, and I know you're probably like, what does all of this mean? But this is just like a more in-depth look, utilizing what I want to make beaded links here. These are representative of the green and blue beads. So I kind of did another little sketch just to show what we'll be working with. So we're going to be working with the Golem Bead. So all these items can be found on Jesse James Beads. And this is one of the beautiful Golem beads. They're really nice quality. And it has this large hole. So what I was thinking of doing, so that'll go there. And we're going to make this little seed beaded double wrapped necklace utilizing some soft flex. This one is the medium. And I believe this color is called fluorite. Yeah, fluorite color. And that's what I'm going to be using today. And my plan is to utilize these two strands, and I'm going to pick and choose beads from these two. These are the green and the blue from the one of the most recent drops that Jesse James Beads had. And I'll have to look up the names so I can put them in the description. But anyway, we're going to go basic beading, 1, 2, 3. And then here is where we're going to utilize these beaded links. To make these beaded links, I want to use some leftover of the gray toho beads. And also of these little tiny little tiny crystal in gray and black. So these can also be found on the Jesse James Beads website, and I will put links and all that good business. So I want to make little tiny links that are circles, beaded circles that are about 10 millimeters, maybe less. We'll see how it goes. Clearly, I've never made this necklace before, so we're about to find out. This is the gist of it. These are all the items that we are going to be using, all of which can be found on Jesse James Beads. All right, guys, so I got it set up. Now, this is going to be probably the most daunting part of this necklace. And so I'm going to start out with this first. So from what I can gather, we are going to need 24 of these beaded circles. So I've got my beading wire. Now, if you wanted to use other beading wire for this, I don't see why you couldn't, but this is what I got, so that's what I'm going to use. And I've just cut a piece because just a longer piece. I'll probably get a few out of this little piece that I have. And I'm going to want to have my crimping tool. So I'm going to do a couple with you guys, and then I'm going to bounce off camera. I'm going to make the others because it could be probably a pretty daunting process. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to use the black crystal, and I'm just going to start adding these on. And basically all we're going to do is make a ring, and we are going to crimp it to make little beaded rings. And I don't necessarily think they have to be, it's kind of what you're most comfortable with, but we're going to be putting these in between beads. Okay, so this is probably going to be a good enough size. I'll maybe go one more bead. 2, 4, 6, 8. So I got 8 on there, and I'm going to put 9. So 9 of the crystals. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 9 crystals, and then I'm going to put a crimp bead. You can use crimp bead, crimp tube, whatever you got. And I'm going to go to the end, and I'm going to go back through this crimp tube bead. And I'm just going to pull it. I'm going to try to not be wasting as much wire as I possibly can, so I'm going to try to get way down here to the end of this, because that's all we're doing. We're going to trim that off, and we're just going to crimp there. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that into this crystal, see if it'll go in there. And I think it should. And if it doesn't, well, he's trying to sneak away from me here. There we go. Are you going to fit in there? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Let's crimp him first so I don't lose the whole works here. Get you down there further. So this is what we have. We have 9 crystals on there. Now I am going to give a little space just to do the crimping so I don't break anything. And I also could use, I may not, but you could also use a bead cover here in this situation if you wanted it to look round. What I might suggest if you were going to use a bead cover is to maybe go with a gunmetal color so that it blends in. So now that we're crimped and the pull test looks good, I am going to see, this one will probably be easier to work with, if I can run this back through there. Ta-da, ta-da. And it doesn't look like I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my flush cutter. There we go. So I got my beetle on flush cutter, and I'm just going to cut as closely there as I can. And like I said, I may choose to use a bead cover simply just to cover up that little wire. So I didn't find gunmetal, but I did find this frosted kind of silver. I don't know what they call this. It's almost like a titanium kind of color. And so I'm just going to go with that. Now, if you've cut close enough to your bead, you shouldn't have, too much to worry about there as far as anything poking anyone. But we're going to make 24 of those because Randy's ambitious. So anyways, let me make 3 or 1 more at least so I can show you what they will look like stacked up. So I'm just putting on 9 beads. And I am going to be using also toho seed beads to do this. And 3 and the other gray crystals as well. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to make this last one with you guys, and then I will fast forward into getting the rest of them done. So once I got my crimp bead on there, I'm just going to go through like so. And see, what I really wanted to do is I wanted this to be big enough to go through this one as well, but it's pretty tight fit. So, like I said, I'm going to get this guy down here as to not waste too much wire. And then I shall proceed with the crimping. I'm going to be a superior crimper by the time this day is over. So I'm just crimping closest to me, and then turning and going into the second and crimping again. So I'm just double checking that all of that is good to go, because that is what is holding our entire crimp together. And then flush cutting. Now, I feel pretty comfortable with this security-wise, because these are not going to be holding anything. They're just basically going to be stacked together as spacer beads. So I don't foresee there being weight on this little, link or anything like that. So I feel like it'll be okay, because they're going to be stacked up, one on top of the other, like so, in between beads. So I'm going to make the other 24 of these and I'll be back. Hey guys, I'm just checking in here. So I have made 6 of the black check glass, and I have made 6 of the gray check glass. So this side will be for one side of my necklace. This will be for one side of my necklace. Now I've moved on to tohos, and so I thought, of course, the tohos are smaller because these are size 11 toho beads. So I thought I would use 2 compared to 1 of the check glass. So I had on 18. That wasn't quite enough, so I added 2 more beads. So 20 seems to be the lucky number. And I just thought I would get on here and show you my 20. Now, I will say that you have to be very careful when you're crimping with these toho beads, because you don't want to crack one off. We know how that goes working with seed beads. So I am trying to be very careful and making sure I got room for my plier, and everything seems to be going pretty well. So I've been making 6 of each color. I think that that's going to be a pretty good amount. And I will check back in with you once I have the rest of these toho seed bead rings done. I decided to only do 18 rings and not do 24 because I didn't want to link them together. So I've skipped that step. I have 18 rings, and we are ready to move on to getting our bead picked out for this dangly bit here, as you will remember. Now, originally I was going to do it with, I think it was a crystal. Well, I was originally going to do it with one of these sparkly ones, but I think I'm going to do it with a crystal now, because I think that sparkly one might take away from the Golem bead. So I'm in debate if I want to use this one, because it kind of has a circle in the middle, or if I want to use this. I think I'm going to use this bluer one because it looks more like an oval drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these to the side for now. It really wasn't that bad. I thought it was going to be quite, but I just put my Audible book on, and next thing you know, I had 18 little circles. So no biggie there. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this crystal from the sparkly, I got the sparkly blue strand, and I am thinking I might use this little like Heishi rubber stopper guy, because I'm planning to use 20 gauge artistic wire from Beaded. Now I'm just using this 20 gauge to give this a little more bulk. Normally, you guys know I like to use a 22 gauge, but we'll see what happens here. Sometimes you just gotta change it up, you know? So let me just, I don't want this to all spin out of control. Hold on a sec. Should be spinning out of control. artistic wire. I'll tell you what. There we go. All right, I'm going to move you up just a little bit just so I have a little more area to work here. And so this is 20 gauge, and this is artistic wire. This is just a little more sturdy, and you wouldn't necessarily need to use a 20 gauge. I just felt like it today. I felt like it. So what I'm going to do, that is not the right plier. That ain't even the right tool. Hold on. Here we go. The round nose. This is the one you need. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to do a little something different. I am going to put my bead on like so. And what I'm going to do is I got this little extra wire here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it up over the top of the bead. And you are going to be able to see that on the outside of the bead. And now you can either have this in the front or you can have it in the back. You can have it wherever you want. I'm going to utilize it as part of the design element. And so what I am going to do is I'm just going to grab a little crystal here. A little leftover. Oh, that's the wrong one. A little leftover crystal. And I'm going to put that guy on this long tail so he hangs on top of the crystal, you see. And what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to take my, this is the flat nose, and on right here I'm going to give just a smidgen of a bend. See how I did a little bend there? I'm then going to move my bead down onto that. The purpose of this is to hold that bead so he's kind of in the middle. If you didn't get enough bend the first time, you can always go back. But what we're going to do then is we're just going to have something that looks like this. Easy. It's easy, you guys. Just make sure you hang on to this little bead as you spin this wire. You could even go down the back side now if you'd like. You could go, you know, there's lots of options. And I'm just going to do about 2 wraps here. And maybe I'll go a little more, so that's in the back. 2-3 wraps. I'm going to just get up there real close to my bead along cutter, and I'm just going to trim him off. So now we have this, right? And so if your bead is moving more than you'd like it to, because when you hold it up, you know, gravity and such. Let me tuck this in before I hurt myself. You can then take your flat nose again and do a little more bending if you feel the need. You don't have to. You just do whatever you want there. And all you do is you just give it the slightest bend. You know, just the slightest little bend. And then he should stay pretty tight on there. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to do a regular wire wrap as we normally would. And I'm not going to make this loop very big because I don't want it to be very bulky. So just gonna go ahead and wrap down, and I'm gonna go until you see it looks like it fits right in there with the top and the bottom wrap, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go ahead and trim. And then I'm just going to give everything a little work harden. And I'm just going to go in here with my plier and just make sure that that is in there. It's not going to hurt anybody because this is going to be our droplet. And it will be hanging against the skin. Okay. So this is where we're at. Okay. Now I thought I was going to use these, but turns out that didn't happen. It didn't fill the need there. So I'm just going to put those to the side. And now we're going to start building our necklace. So this portion right here, we got to get ourselves some more of the soft flex medium. Now we're going to get out enough for our whole necklace. Now I want this necklace to be, I just do an 18-inch because I can always do an extender on the backside. But if you wanted to do a 20, you know, you could. So you're going to want to be thinking about that right at this particular moment. So I'm just going to grab out, probably, because we're going to wrap through this bead twice. So I'm going to grab out about 22 inches. Just to be safe. Should I measure it, you guys? Just to be safe with my little measurer. All right. Let me see what I got here. Oh, that's not what I need. Okay, so I got 24 inches. I feel comfortable with that. That'll give us enough for everything we need, plus the crimping, etc. So 24 inches I have. So put this back on there. You guys, I think I heard, I don't know if I'm losing it, but I heard this fluorite color in this soft flex is going away. I don't know if that's true. I did get this on Jesse James. I think that it is still available. This fluorite color. I really like this color. It's kind of a versatile for me. All right, here we go. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start right here with the crystal, and we're going to work up. Okay. So I got you really high up here just for right now so you can see the whole process of what I'm doing. And I've got my crystal, and then I have these extra, let's see, what did I have? I think I had 4 gray Czech glass left over, these little guys, and I had 4 black. So I'm gonna just put the, you know what I need? I need 2 little toho seed beads. I'm gonna get two, well, that's way more than 2. I'm gonna get 2 little gray toho seed beads to tie this all in together. Now these will probably go through our little loop here, but that's fine. No worries on that. Let's see if they do. Yep. So this is how I'm going. I just have my 2 little seed beads. They go through. That's fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter. And now we're going to put on 2 gray of these little Czech glass on one side and 2 black of the little Czech glass on this side. Okay. And then, oh wait, now, did I have 3? Oh, I do. I have 3. Is that, no, that's not enough for the other side. I'm going to grab out some more of the tohos. Now this part only depends on how long you want your droplet to hang from your golem bead. So I want mine to hang more than that. So I don't have any more of the Czech glass left because I've used them all for making the links. So I'm just going to fill in here with as many tohos as I see fit for this droplet to land away from the golem bead. So right now I have 1, 2, I have 5. We'll see how that goes. So now I'm going to switch to the other side, my other strand, and I'm going to do, I've already got my tohos on there, so I'm going to go 2 of the gray crystal, or sorry, a Czech glass, 2 of the black Czech glass that I had left, and 5 of the toho seed beads. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now let's see how far that gives us. So this is how I'm going to check. Maybe I can zoom in a smidge, cripes. All right. So I'm going to take, I have 2 tails here, and I'm going to take, and I'm going to go through the bead like this. Okay. So I'm going to take this one, go through here. I'm going to take this one, go through here. And I'm just going to gently pull. You don't want to curl your wire up. And At the same time I'm doing this, I'm going to kind of make sure these are even so that as I go down, I'm going to have enough to work with on each side. Okay, so this is what I got. Now, this is giving me basically right up close to the bead, and that is not what I want. I want it to kind of droplet, as you can see here. A little more space. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to take it off of there, and I'm going to add more seed beads to each side, which is fine. Now, if you liked it like this, by all means, go ahead, girl. You just go on ahead. Keep it like that and go on with your bad self. I am wanting it to be a little bit like this. Another reason for that is more gravity, more weight. Okay? Because we are using one strand, but I want it to be a little more like this. So it's looking like I'm going to need to add probably 5 seed beads to each side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I've got my beads on there. Now, what I'm going to do right here, well, I'll put my Golem Bead on first. What I noticed is that this Golem Bead does have quite a large hole, so I don't want my seed beads to go inside of there. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in order to prevent that from happening. So I'm just pulling, getting my strings in there, evening them up, pulling them down. Now, before I get all the way down to where I want to be, I'm going to grab 2 of these bead covers. Now, you could use any kind of bead you wanted, but I'm just going to use these matching bead covers because I have them on all of my little links. And so I don't feel like it's going to be an issue. And I'm just going to add them basically as a stopper or as a metal bead right here onto the string. So they're not covering anything. I'm just putting them right onto the wire and just closing them up. And I want to make sure that they're on there pretty good because they're just acting as a space holder basically for this reason, so that it can't get through there. And that is what she looks like. Right? Right on. You guys, we're doing good. We're doing good. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to start building upwards like so. Okay. So I'm going to turn this, well, is that going to be confusing? I was going to say, I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm going to turn this sideways so that we can, see what we're doing here. And we're going to work on this like this. So here we go. I'm going to start out with these little bead covers, bead caps, and I think I'm going to do a crystal right off the bat to just kind of tie in this crystal that we have on the bottom. And then I'm going to do this little green one, do a blue Heishi rubber spacer and this little green bead. And then I think I'll put on this other round sparkly one. No, I better put that other blue spacer on there, and then this crystal. And let me move you guys down just a little smidgy so you can see a little more. All right, and now originally I was going to split these up and I was going to go 3 3 3 3, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the rings, and I'm going to go the silver, or yeah, the silverish gray check glass. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go the black. And then the gray. And I'm just layering them all on top of each other. And I thought I was going to use them separate, but I actually kind of think this is going to be kind of cool. We'll see if it works out once I get another bead on there. So now I'm thinking this little teal one to kind of bring it all together. Oh yeah, like that. I like that. Oh, you guys can't see the full effect. There you go. So, I think that I will do this blue one. I'm gonna do green spacer and then this blue one. See how that looks okay. And then this blue crackle glass. I hope this is not too much blue in one spot here. Oh no, it looks good. And I think this little shell bead. Oh yeah, it looks cute on there. Super sparkly one. Super sparkles. All right. So I'm just looking at it to see what we got going on here. I think this extra sparkle, this portion, is a bit much. We could probably get this guy on there. I want to put him, well, I don't know. I did that one. I mean, that's a very pretty bead, but I'm like, I think we got enough going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over now to the other side bead tray. And I'm just going to do the exact on this side. So we got a bead cap. We already have our little space on there. Okay. And then the crystal. I hear Jakey toes. Jakey's my hound dog. I hear him walking around upstairs. So I'm just doing this other side here the exact same way we did the other one. And let's see, we gotta have the silver. So 1, 2, 3, the black, 2, 3, and the seed beaded ones, 1, 2, 3, And this little guy. Uh-oh. It seems that there is no other green spacer for right here. Oh, it's because I messed up. Look, I put it down here instead of where it's supposed to be. So, gotta change that. This one was supposed to be blue. Alright, blue. And then put all these back on there. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. Get all this out of the way here. So, this is our beaded portion. You guys, I really like it a lot. I like how this, you guys probably can't see. I like how this portion right here, it kind of has movement and does what it wants. I kind of like that. This kind of acts as a large spacer. And when this is on, it's going to be laying against your skin, so it's going to lay flat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the top up, and then we're going to add a little, bit of chain, and we'll be done. You guys, I found, this is chain reaction number 36. And it has the same finish as some of these crystals in here. I was going to say this one, but that one's more blue. This one right here is just a smaller version, which is perfect. So, I'm going to use that to finish my necklace. Originally, I thought we were going to go all the way to the top with the beading. But it just didn't turn out that way, you know? Sometimes that's just how it goes. That's fine. I like it like this. Sometimes we have to make adjustments in our plan. So, I'm just getting this chain reaction ready. Now, what I like to do is I like to hook onto a crystal. So, I will use a crystal here. Now, this side, you can see, has crystal, but then chain. So, I am going to just snip that off. Now, don't worry, I continue to use these little pieces in my tassels and things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my crimp bead, and you know, we're master crimpers now. And I'm just going to put it on there. I'm going to go through right here where the crystal is. And I'm not using a wire guardian or anything. I'm just going to crimp them right onto that crystal. Go through that crimp bead. I'm going to run back through this little crystal bead just for funsies. And, oh. Now, in tightening up this necklace, this is an important part to note here, is that you are going to want to make sure that everything is tightened up pretty well, because you have this going on down here. You know what I'm saying? So before I do any crimping and making it permanent, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also hook on to this other side. Oh, crimp bead. And this is just to make sure that everything is going to lay the way that you want it to in functionality. So I hooked on to the crystal, and I'm going to again go back through this crystal here. And you gotta be careful your little bead don't go into this bigger bead. It shouldn't. And now, you guys, this is why it's important. Because you want this to have enough room and space to move and for everything to move okay, but you don't want it to be so tight. When you pull this really tight, this loop right here is going to stick out, and you don't necessarily want that. You want it to be relaxed, you know, so it hangs. So that is important to note when you are closing this bad boy up. So now that I think I got it where I want it, and just kind of making sure my loops are the same size up here, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to crimp. Crimp, crimp, crimp. Oh, what happened there? Oh no, went. And I had my little crimp beads, and somehow they got under the tripod. Nobody is surprised. And I'm going to go with trimming first. I always trim first because when you put this bead cover on, it is going to take up about 1 millimeter of space. It's going to pull. If there was any little excess, you know, tail sticking out of that bead, it's going to pull that up when you put this on there. And she's on there. Now we go to the other side. Again, just always checking to make sure everything is hanging okay. Because you don't want it to be so loose that it just gets floppy and loses its shape. But you also don't want it to be so tight that you're like, okay, it's going to bust. Happy mediums. Okay, so just up here, remember, in the crimping process, make sure you are not crisscrossing your strands. Some keep spinning on me. And we're almost scot-free, you guys. Hold and crimp. I forgot to cut it. Like I said, make sure you don't forget that. It looks okay. Alright. So, now, I guess, if you wanted to leave it long, you could just leave it long like this, and you it'd be a pullover style, which is pretty cool. Or, if we're going to go ahead with, you know, some kind of clasp, we will probably have to measure. I'm going to measure right from the Golem bead here. It's right in the middle of that. So here is 18 inches. And I would then leave an extender. So it makes it really easy because it's going to be right here on this little guy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut that little loop. Instead, I'm going to cut the loop above it. You see this? Not the little loop-de-loop, the loop above it. Just barely with my cutter. And give that a cut. So then you still have a nice little soldered ring on there when you go to connect whatever you're going to connect to it. So this one right here. And I just cut and then kind of twist a little bit with my cutter. And then we'll just use this in another project. And now we are ready to connect our, I'm going to put a lobster claw. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to use kind of a antique silver color oval jump ring here. Alrighty. So now we just put on the ends and we're good to go. So it's got an oval jump ring here. I'm just going to connect onto this little loop that we left. And add my lobster. I prefer a lobster when I have jewelry that I'm wearing because then I know I'm not going to lose it. It's just me. Sometimes I like toggles depending on the functionality of the toggle. I think it's just a personal preference. Now I did find this one over there in on my desk, and it's a little bit different color than the lobster, but it does match the bead covers we used. It's like that frosted silver color. All right. And we are good to go, you guys. I'm going to flip it and I'm going to try it on so you guys can see it in action. Give me 1 second, but I think it turned out really well. Here's the picture, and it is a little different than the picture that I drew. But again, this is just, you know, an idea of what it could look like. So I think it turned out really good, and we're going to try it on. All right, guys, I got her on. There she is in action. Whoa. Gotta get a new cameraman. I think it turned out great, you guys. I like it a lot. I could even shorten it up a little bit if I wanted to, because I got a little extra on the tail end here. So, let me see about that. If I went even a little shorter. There we go. And so, okay, if your bead is doing this, flip it over. Okay? And then once it gets flipped over, it's good to go. So, there she is. I really like it a lot, you guys. I really do. I think it's super cute. I love it. And we have enough. Here's our photo. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. We have enough beads left. We have some nice teal boho beads and even some drops to do earrings if you wanted. So, super good. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, I hope you will give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me a like. It's all very helpful for me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will be back next time with some other wonderful Jessie James goodness, and we'll see what we can do. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Bye-bye.